Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about UPSC Prelims paper of year 2021. And in this video, we are going to discuss in details about the geography questions that has been asked. We are going to discuss what was the correct option and what is the explanation behind each of the geography questions. So first of all, if you look at the first question, as you can see, the question has been asked from the topic of natural vegetation, and straightforward question is asked related to the Savannah grassland. And the question is saying that the vegetation of savanna consists of grassland with scattered small trees, but extensive areas have no trees. This we already know about savanna grassland, the savanna region, that the savanna region is largely covered by tall grasses which are as high as 10 to 15 feet in height, but overall the number and density of trees are very less, or overall we can say it has very sparse tree density. Then it asks, the forest development in such area is generally kept in check by one or more or a combination of some conditions. So which of the following are such conditions? So basically you have to explain or tell that what are the conditions that cause lesser or sparse number of trees in the savanna region. So five options are given. First is burrowing animals and termites. Burrowing animals such as rats, moles, rabbits, they're considered as the burrowing animals that burrow hole in the ground surface. Second is fire. Third is grazing herbivore. Fourth is seasonal rainfall. And fifth is the soil properties. So if you look closely here in savanna, we do not have a lot of burrowing animals and termites. They do not play a very strong role in limiting the possibility of the growth of trees. Second, fire of absolutely, because what happens in the savanna region, especially during the summer season, temperature increases to a significant extent, and in such high temperature conditions, we obviously see the spark that sometimes can also cause fire among the dried grasses, and these fire spread at a very fast rate and cause burning of small plants which might have possibility to grow into full-fledged tree in the future. Third is grazing herbivores, obviously because savanna region we see the number of animals, especially herbivore animals, the species diversity is quite higher, and all these animals which are found in very huge numbers keep on grazing in these grasses, and thus they limit the possibility of growth of trees by uprooting the plants before they can become tree. So 3 is also the correct option. Fourth is seasonal rainfall, because again savanna region do not receive rainfall all the time. It receives rainfall only during 2 to 3 months of year in the year, and that is also acting as a limiting factor because it is a dry kind of area. Fifth is soil property, do not have to specifically do anything with the growth or keeping in check the growth of trees, because soil of savanna is full. There is a nutrients, obviously there is nutrients density is not very higher, but the soil has sufficient nutrients that if other conditions are met or satisfied, then trees can grow in this area as well. So largely it is due to the effect of fire, the huge number of grazing herbivores such as wilder beasts, zebras, giraffes, and seasonal rainfall for 2 to 3 months in a year is the reason why forest development is kept in check in the savanna region. So correct option will be obviously C, 2, 3, and 4. If you take a look at major grassland savanna regions of the world, we can see in the savanna is a region of grassland which largely is called in the Africa. Then we have in North America, prairie grasslands are there. In the Eurasian region, we have the steppes grassland. Then in the South America also we have Pampas, Llanos, Campos, these grasslands are there. And as you can see, largely this area is covered by grasses, and here and there you can see some few trees growing wherever the water availability of water is quite higher, and the area is continuously being grazed upon by large number of different types of herbivores. Second question is related to the availability or reference to water on the planet Earth. And in this regard, two statements are given. The first statement is that the amount of water in the rivers and lakes is more than the amount of groundwater on the Earth. And the second is the amount of water in polar ice caps and glaciers is more than the amount of groundwater. So basically, the question has been asked in reference to groundwater, that the water in the rivers and lakes as well as the water in polar ice caps and glacier, whether it is higher than groundwater or lesser than ground. So we take a look at the distribution of water across the planet Earth. We can see that almost 96.5% of the planet's water is in the ocean, which is saline water. Fresh water make up merely 2.5% of the total water that is present on the Earth. Now, within this 2.5% of fresh water, if we try to divide it, we can see that 68.7% of these waters are locked in the form of solid in the glaciers and ice cap, and only 30% is in the form of groundwater, and 1.2% is in the form of surface water. So the first statement is that the amount of water in the rivers and lake is more than the amount of groundwater. This is absolutely incorrect because the groundwater is 30% and remaining all other surface water is just 1.2%. Second option was that the amount of water in polar ice caps and glacier is more than the amount of groundwater. So this we can see this is absolutely correct. The glacier and ice cap has 68.7% and groundwater has only 30.1% of the share. And then within the surface water we can see the distribution is in 69% in the form of ground ice and permafrost, 3.8% is soil moisture. Lakes are the area that is having the highest amount of surface water on the earth, that is almost 21%, and then we have in atmosphere slight or small amount of water in the rivers, swamps and living things. So that is how the distribution of the water on the planet earth can be understood. So obviously the correct answer will be B. Only second option is correct, first statement is incorrect. The third question is again related to the natural vegetation of India, where a specific question has been asked related to the moringa and tamarind. Now, moringa, which is also called as domestic tree, is a leguminous evergreen tree. This is incorrect because it is a tropical dry deciduous tree. Second statement is tamarind tree is endemic to South Asia. This is also incorrect because tamarind tree is endemic not to South Asia but to Africa. Third is in India, most of the tamarind is collected as minor forest produce. This is absolutely correct because minor forest produce is the classification that has been done by the government in the forest area so that these can be collected by the tribals and they can sell it for sustaining their livelihood. Minor forest produce basically refers to those kind of forest produce which are kind of non-timber in nature. That means any forest produce which does not involve a timber is considered as the minor forest produce, and thus tamarind is collected as minor forest produce. Fourth is India export tamarind and seeds of moringa. This is also correct. And fifth is seeds of moringa and tamarind can be used in the production of biofuels. This is also correct. So the correct option will be 3, 4 and 5. The first and second is incorrect. The fourth question is very simple, straightforward question based on the soils of India, where the question has been asked: the black cotton soil of India has been formed due to weathering of which kind of rocks? And here the answer will be brown forest soil, fissure volcanic rock, granite, incist, shale and limestone. So the answer is fissure volcanic rock. Now let us try to understand this in more detail. Basically, if you look at the volcanism, every one of us understand the volcanic process. Now what is fissure volcanism? So fissure volcanism refers to such kind of volcanic eruption where eruption is not happening via some central wind, via some central opening. Rather, the eruption is happening across in a linear manner over a large distance or over a long distance. So as you can see from this particular diagram, this entire region is from where volcanic materials, magma, lavas are coming at the earth's surface, and thus this entire region can be called as the fissure volcanism. So basically what happened, as India was after splitting from Gondwana land, as India was traveling and moving toward the north, it passed over a region that is called as Reunion. And it is during the passes over the Reunion, the western part of India, as we can see from this part of map, the western part of India passed over a hotspot. Hotspot is a type of volcanic eruption that is happening in a fissure manner, in a fissure fashion, and due to this eruption of huge amount of volcanic magma, it started to accumulate on the western part of India, and gradually as the magma cooled down, solidified, it converted into volcanic rock. And over a period of times of millions and millions of years, due to the agents of erosion such as movement of wind, movement of water, these volcanic rocks has been eroded to give way to the black soil. Now, if you look at the question carefully, here the statement says the black cotton soil. The reason is simple, because the black soil supports abundantly the growth of cotton in India. It is the most important crop that is grown in the black soil of India, and that is why it is also called as a black cotton soil. At the same time, black soil is also known by the other name of regur soil. So black soil, black cotton soil or regur soil, all are same soils which have developed due to the erosion of the volcanic rock which has come in the western part of India due to the fissure volcanic eruption. The sixth question is related to palm oil. Again, question based on natural vegetation as well as the current affairs. And the question is asked that with reference to palm oil, consider the following statements. So first is the palm oil tree is native to Southeast Asia. Second is the palm oil is a raw material for some industries producing lipsticks and perfume. And third is palm oil can be used to produce biodiesel. Which of the statement given above are correct? So if you look at palm oil, so first statement is palm oil is native to Southeast Asia. This statement is incorrect because palm oil is native to Africa basically, and in Southeast Asia, though currently Southeast Asia, especially countries such as Indonesia and Malaysia, they are the largest producer of palm oil today, but it was brought from Africa during the colonial times by the different colonial empires, and then they started to grow and plant this in the Southeast Asia, which is called its rapid expansion. And if you try to trace back the history of palm oil, we can see it can be traced as far back as 5,000 years. And archaeologists believe that for the first time, the palm oil tree, which we can trace back to, was discovered in a tomb in the Egypt. Second statement is the palm oil is raw material for some industries producing lipsticks and perfume. This is totally a correct statement because it is used in lipstick because of its properties that it can hold the color, whatever color you are putting in the palm oil very well. It does not melt at high temperature, and thus lipstick can have long durability, longer shelf life. And third, there is a smooth application and virtually noticed. So all these make it very good for using it as a lipstick product. Third is obviously palm oil can be used to produce biodiesel, and these days there has been a lot of concern about using of palm oil for production of biodiesel, and European countries actually have started to have a decrease in the overall import for the palm oil for the production of the biofuels. So it is believed that biofuels, whether it is liquid biofuel or gas biofuel, which are made from plant products such as palm oil, soy, corn, coconut, rapeseed, are not the sound green alternative to petrol and diesel, which were they once thought to be. And the reason is very simple, because what has happened due to high demand of palm oil for the production of biofuel, biodiesel, there was large scale deforestation that has happened in the countries such as Indonesia and Malaysia, that has threatened a wildlife to a large extent. And that is why European countries have decided to decrease their import of palm oil from Southeast Asia. So obviously the correct answer will be 2 and 3 only. Palm oil tree is not native to Southeast Asia, rather it is native to Africa. The next question is related to the river system, where the question has been asked with reference to the Indus River system. Of the following 4 rivers, 3 of them pour into one of them, which joins the Indus direct. Among the following, which one is such river that joins the Indus direct? So as you know, Indus has 5 major tributaries: Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas and Satluj. So out of that, they have asked question that Chenab, Jhelum, Ravi and Satluj, which of these rivers are directly meeting the Indus river? So if we take a look at the Indus river, we can clearly see this is our Indus river. And we can see, first of all, we have the Jhelum coming from here and Chenab coming from India again. And first of all, we have meeting of Jhelum and Chenab. Once Jhelum and Chenab meets, the water is carried forward by Chenab river, where it meets further with the Ravi river. Then after that, again the water is carried forward by Chenab river, and then it meets the Satluj river. And near Panchnath, when we have the meeting of Chenab and Satluj, from here again a common stream of water carried forward to the Indus river, and this is where the Indus river is being met with one of these rivers. So question is very simple, that this stream of water, whether this is Chenab, whether this is Satluj, whether this is Jhelum, or whether this is the Ravi. So basically, if you look at the length of the tributaries of Indus, Satluj is the longest tributary of Indus. As you can see, Satluj originates from the Tibetan plateau nearby the source of Indus, travel all across the northern India in the states of Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, and then it enters into Pakistan, where it meets with the Chenab, and then finally the water is carried forward to Indus. So since Satluj is the longest tributary of Indus, we can consider Satluj to be the last stream that is carrying the water from all the other tributaries to the Indus, and correct answer will be D. Then again, question is from the Indian geography. We can say it is a map-based question where it has been asked that with reference to India, Didwana, Kuchaman, Sargol and Khatu are the names of what? Whether they are glaciers, whether they are mangrove areas, whether they are Ramsar sites or saline lakes. So this is again a very factual question, and these are saline lakes which are also geographically referred as playas. So playas are those kind of saline lakes which develop in the dry, arid regions, because what happens in the rainy season when the water comes from the mountains or the hills, The water gets collected, and in the hot season, all the water evaporates, leaving behind all the salt particles encrusted on the surface of the lake. So that is why we have large scale accumulation of salt in the lake in these areas, and a lot of streams which are coming from the Aravalli range, they dry up, leading to formation of large number of arid lakes or playa lakes. So we can see here we have Didwana, Kuchaman, Degana, Puskar, we have Khatu Lake, we have Lunkarsar Lake. So all across the Rajasthan, we can see huge number of lakes, largely due to presence of the Aravalli range across the eastern part of Rajasthan. From there, a lot of streams emerge and disappear during the dry season. Ninth question again is related to the river system, where it has been asked that out of these four rivers, that is Brahmani, Nagavalli, Suvarnrekha and Vamsadhara, which of the following rivers have origin from the eastern Ghats? So eastern Ghats are a network of hills, broken hills, detached hills that span all the way from the Odisha to Tamil Nadu, passing via the Andhra Pradesh. So if you look at these four rivers, so Brahmani river originate from the Ranchi Plateau, and then it travels all the way from basically what we can see Brahmani river originating from the Chota Nagpur Plateau, the part of Ranchi Plateau, and then it travels all the way from Odisha and drains into this Bay of Bengal. So obviously Brahmani does not originate from Eastern Ghat, it originates from the Chota Nagpur Plateau. Similarly, if you look at Suvarnrekha river, this river also originates from the Ranchi part of Chota Nagpur Plateau. But if you look at the Nagavalli and Vamsadhara river, Nagavalli river is originating from again the eastern Ghats of Orissa, and just slightly to the east of Nagavalli basin, we have the Vamsadhara basin, and here also the river is originating from the eastern Ghat of Orissa, traveling all the way or flowing all the way to Andhra Pradesh, finally draining to Bay of Bengal. So correct answer obviously will be Nagavalli and Vamsadhara, that is 2 and 4. These two rivers are originating from the eastern Ghats of the state of Odisha. The 10th question is related to the agriculture, where it has been asked that out of these four crops, that is sugarcane, sunflower, pearl millet, and red gram, which one is the least water efficient? Now, least water efficient basically refers to such kind of crop which consume huge amount of water for their growth, and thus, if the crop is consuming huge amount of water, that means its water efficiency can be considered to be less. So in this regard, it is a sugarcane, which is the least water intensive crop, least water efficient crop. And the reason is because sugarcane uses huge amount of water. It is very, very water intensive, needing somewhere between 1500 to 3000 liters of water for every kilogram of the sugarcane production. And thus, the water use efficiency for sugarcane cultivation is believed to be somewhere about 3.13 hours of water to produce horsepower hours of water for producing 1 quintal of annual output, indicating that it is the least water efficient crop. The other crops such as sunflower, pearl millet, red gram, these can be cultivated even in those parts of India where the agriculture or the availability of water is relatively lesser, while sugarcane can only grow in those areas where it is whether the water is being made available either via rainfall, monsoonal rainfall, or via the canals, artificial dams and canals by construction of the reservoir. So that is why sugarcane is largely grown either in the northern states such as UP and Bihar, where you have large number of Gangetic Himalayan rivers, or in the state of Maharashtra, where we have extensive development of the irrigation infrastructure. Then coming to the next question, that is related to ocean's current, where the question is asked that if you look at the tropical zone of the world, it says that the western section of the oceans are warmer than the eastern section owing to the influence of trade winds. The second statement is that in the temperate zone of the world, westerlies wind make the eastern section of ocean warmer than the western sections. So let us take a look at the zones, different zones of the world. So first of all, if you look at the tropical zone, this is somewhere we can see the Tropic of Cancer is passing through around these areas. So in the tropical zone, what happens? We can see we have the movement of the northeasterly trade wind, as you can see from this particular diagram. In the tropical zone, we have the northeasterly and southeasterly trade winds are moving, and their general direction of movement is from east to west. And as the wind is moving from east to west, they also move the surface water, which is warmer in nature due to heating by sunlight. Also, they carry the surface water of the ocean from east to west. And since they carry the surface water of the ocean from east to west, obviously what will happen? The western section of the ocean will become warmer than the eastern section due to the influence of trade winds. So this statement is absolutely correct. Now, if we take a look at the temperate zone, in the temperate zone, we can see it is the westerlies wind that is moving from west to east. And as the westerlies wind are moving from west to east, they carry the surface water from west to east. And it is due to this region the eastern section of oceans now become warmer as compared to the western section. And it is also due to this region, the North Atlantic drift current that flows under the influence of westerlies brings warm water along the northwestern coast of Europe, and this causes the ports to remain functional throughout the year, because even in the colder period, due to this warm water current, the temperature near the coast does not drop below 0 degrees Celsius. So that is why this is a very, very important concept. So both statement 1 and 2 is correct in this regard. The 12th question is again related to natural vegetation, where it has been asked, a statement has been given that leaf litter decomposes faster than in any other biome, and as a result, the soil surface is often almost bare. Apart from trees, the vegetation is largely composed of plant forms that reach up into the canopy vicariously by climbing the trees or growing as epiphytes rooted on the upper branches of tree. This is the description of which of the following vegetation: coniferous vegetation, dry deciduous forest, mangrove forest, or tropical rainforest. So obviously, if you take a look at the statement, it refers to tropical rainforest, because in tropical rainforest you have higher temperature and higher rainfall. So in this kind of hot and wet condition, the decomposition by microorganisms are happening at a much more rapid rate, and thus you will not find any leaf litter accumulated in the soil surface. Second, in the tropical rainforest, you will also find numerous epiphytes which can be classified either as climbers, which are growing vertically, or creepers, which are spreading out horizontally. And these two, climbers and creepers, grow in this tropical rainforest, taking the help of the other trees, because the sunlight near the surface is very, very less, the canopy density is very, very higher, and thus for getting sunlight, they try to grow by climbing on the trees and try to reach at the top of trees, so they can survive by taking the sunlight and carry out the process of photosynthesis. So that is why it is like, if you look, these are the type of creepers and climbers and creepers that are growing on the branches of the tree, upper branches of the tree. So the correct option obviously will be D, that is tropical rainforest. So that is all about the questions that were asked from the core geography in year 2021. I hope you understood the questions, the pattern of question, how UPSC is asking, and the concept behind that. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more content. Thank you very much.